Alright, so this video is for those of you that are looking to get an M240i or might already have one, because I have a lot of you guys asking me questions like, what's the best part for this or that, or like, how can I do this? So I figured I might as well make a quick guide / breakdown of what I think are the best parts and routes on how you can build the best M240i. So first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what I have done with my car, so you can put that into perspective going forward. So as it stands right now, I have an AWE catback exhaust with a VRSF downpipe and a TU pump, which is what comes off the Supra or pretty much any Gen 2 B58. I also have a high flow drop-in filter for my intake. I do not have an aftermarket intake because that is not required on the B58 unless you upgrade your turbo. That's also paired with XHP Stage 3 transmission tune and an MHD Stage 2 Plus tune, which you can run 93 octane or E40. As for cosmetics, I have SSR GTX01 wheels. These are 19 by 8.5 with an offset of 38. I also have side skirts with rear spats. I'm also on Dinan springs, which I think the rear is perfect, but the front could be a little bit lower. Looking inside the interior, the only thing I've changed out that's not factory are these paddle shifters, which are Golden Wrench supply. All right, so moving into the video on how you can make the perfect M240i, I think the best exhaust setups for the B58, if you're looking aftermarket, are going to be the AWE exhaust and the Remis. Those sound the best for sure. So again, I have the AWE catback exhaust, and that's the Touring Edition, and I'll show you guys what that sounds like right now. And if you're looking for a little bit cheaper alternative to like a $2,000 exhaust, for example, the M Performance exhaust, which a lot of your cars might even come with that exhaust, sounds really good, whether you do a stock resonator that's already on your car or an aftermarket mid-pipe with no resonator. And then I think the third best option is just removing your resonator, keeping the stock exhaust, and then pairing that with a downpipe. That also will make it so it's not too loud. When it comes to downpipes, they're honestly all the same and they're gonna pretty much sound the same. I personally have a VRSF downpipe, but you pretty much can't go wrong with any of them. When it comes to aftermarket intakes, if you're looking for performance, the best is gonna be the Dinan enclosed intake. But if you're looking for sound, BMS or MST open cold air intake are gonna sound the best. While the engine bay is open, I wanna mention that the stock fuel pump on the M240i 2020 or below is pretty restrictive, so it's highly recommended to upgrade to the TU pump if you're going to run any ethanol. But if you're going to run pump gas, don't even worry about it. So like I mentioned, I'm on Dinan springs, and I personally think the best springs for the M240 are actually H&R, because I think the rear is lowered about the same on H&R, but the H&R's front is a little bit lower than my Dinan springs, which I think would be a nice touch. But if you're not looking to go too low, then Dinan's definitely the best route. And on the rears, you got to be cautious of what kind of power you're going to make, because you definitely want wider tires the more power you make. So Dinan might be the best option for you just because it's not as low. So when it comes to tuning platforms, the best off-the-shelf tunes are going to be MHD and BM3 or boot mode, same thing. I personally have MHD and I love it. It's also shown to have a little bit more top end than BM3, but BM3 has more initial torque from the start. But don't get me wrong, MHD still feels crazy torquey right off the bat, and I'll show you a clip right now. both platforms are really easy to tune your car. You can plug in one of these and connect your phone, or you can plug in like a wired one and connect your laptop to tune your car. I also highly recommend getting a transmission tune through XHP. That ZF8 transmission is great, but that tune makes it so much faster. One thing I don't have that I do want, and I've been told by countless people that it's definitely worth it, is an LSD. I think some of the newer ones come with an LSD, but you can install one yourself if you don't have one, and it's definitely worth it. Not only does it help with traction and power, but you can drift, so that's worth it alone. These things absolutely rip. I mean, I'm on stage 2 plus 93 octane right now, and it still feels insane to me. So as for turbo options, it kind of varies. It depends on what kind of power you want to make, what you're looking for. If you're looking for more reliability with more power, but you also want to kind of keep that stock spool, Pure 800 is going to be the best route. But if you're looking for something a little bit cheaper and similar performance, then I recommend Vargas GC. Those have very similar stock spool, and you can make like in the 500 wheel horsepower on pump gas, and then close to 600 wheel horsepower, if not 600 plus wheel horsepower on E40, E50. The nice thing about Pure 800 is, even though it is almost double the price of a Vargas GC, it can make more power than the Vargas GC. But if you're looking for even more power than that, I mean, you have like DA Ultra Flow, you can make 600 wheel horsepower plus. There's some Flow Max turbos. You can't really go wrong with any of the bigger hybrid turbo routes. They seem to be all pretty reliable and make 600 wheel horsepower plus. Another reason why I think Pure 800 or Vargas GC is going to be your best route is because the B58 motor can handle about 600 wheel horsepower reliably. I mean, it can definitely handle more, but then you start to push that reliability. I've seen some guys blow their motor, but I've seen a lot of guys push 600 wheel horsepower reliably, even as a daily. So I think that Pure 800 Vargas GC route, pushing anywhere from, 500 wheel to like 650 wheel, you don't have to worry about upgrading your motor at all. But if you get something even bigger, like a DA Ultra Flow or like a Flow Max, like a little bit, even like any top mount turbo even, you're going to have to start looking into, upgrading some of the weaker links in the B58 motor. Well, hopefully this video answered some of the questions that you guys have. I thought it was just important to make this video because not a lot of people like plan out what they want to do long-term with their build. They kind of just do things as they go. But I think it's important because like even little things about what springs you get could change on how wide of tires you run, or what intake you get. Some are better for performance, some are better for sound. Like it all just depends like what you want to do with your car and what you want to get out of it. So just keep in mind with every mod you do, is it going to line up with what you want out of the car and what you're going for? But if you do all of that, you'll build the perfect M240i and you'll be happy with it and you'll get exactly what you want.